Thanks very much, Sean. We'll open it up for questions for a few minutes if people would like to do that. First brave soul. Oh, on your right.
Thanks very much, Mr. Dorgan. Colin McKay, this is my name from RBS. Just a question about our competitor city regions. Could you tell us a little bit about, in your view, for example, what are the competitor cities and what are they doing that bit better than us that we should be striving to do?
Well, there are any number of competitors. You can think of Silicon Valley as a city region that we compete with head-on for a lot of the ICT investments. You can think of the cities around New Jersey for the biopharmaceutical investment. You can think of Singapore for biopharmaceuticals. You can think of Amsterdam or Zurich or Geneva or Brussels or London for the headquarter investments, for the running of European or global operations, for the capturing of value and the managing of value chains. They're all the competitors. What are they doing? They're being aggressive, they're developing their expertise, they're improving their infrastructure all the time. Are they better than Cork? In some respects they may have a deeper infrastructure, a deeper expertise, or a longer run of things. Are they better in speed, agility and flexibility? Probably not. So I say speed, agility, flexibility, combined with expertise and infrastructure, will make the difference for us. A lot of countries try to plan things in great detail. We're probably not the best of planners, but we do have a speed and a responsiveness here that for investors really matters. And in that global world where, companies are constantly reinventing themselves and value chains are being reorganized, that ability to constantly change is actually going to be more and more important. So if you look at in London or Amsterdam, great depth of advantages, but maybe not as much capability to change.
Robert Sullivan, Sean, thank you for that. And as I said to you earlier, it may be a valedictory address, but is nonetheless welcome for that. And I'm sure Barry will follow in the footsteps as well as he can. An idea came up at the conference last week, and I'd be interested to hear how you respond to it. Do we need to have an embassy in Dublin?
Not when we're so insidious and prevalent everywhere else. I don't think Cork lacks at all for impact in the corridors of power in various ways. And I think that's evident in many respects in what's been achieved here, in the ability of people here to get the sort of support and results that have really progressed things here in the way they have in recent years. There are jokes in Dublin on this too, but it works really well. I wouldn't have any concerns about the sort of leverage and impact that Cork has.
Sean Dorgan, Cork Independent. I just have a question again that was raised in the conference last week about Belfast as a threat now, the Dublin-Belfast corridor. And I suppose from the IDA perspective, how would you see in terms of foreign direct investment for Cork? Is Belfast a threat now to us in terms of the linkage with, we traditionally in Cork we look to Dublin, Cork-Dublin, rather than maybe looking at Cork-Waterford, Cork-Limerick. So maybe could you just expand on that?
Belfast has a considerably bright future, I think, because it has a lot of advantages. And the Dublin-Belfast corridor is going to grow because of the strength of the two poles at each end. And I recall, it's probably 25 years ago, Sir George Quigley talking about that corridor and the potential that was there. So Belfast will grow and will be strong, and that Dublin-Belfast corridor will be strong. Yes, it will be a challenge to Cork. And in some respects, it's a challenge, given that particularly that Cork sees itself very often as the city region of 500,000 people. And actually, it should see itself perhaps as the centre of a city region of approaching 1 million people, extending from the southeast to the midwest. And that will be a potential that can be realised by the improvement of communications links right along that corridor. You've heard before of the Atlantic corridor, the Atlantic Alliance or whatever. It's not too fanciful because the distances are not much greater than the distance of Silicon Valley from San Francisco to Gilroy. So it's worth thinking beyond the reaches, certainly of the city, even of the county, even of the southwest region. That's the best way of handling the challenge of Belfast. And Belfast isn't the only challenge. There are all those other places around Europe or around the world where things can be done. So think big, think broad, and broaden the base in particular.
Kieran McCartan, Cork Independent. I just thought about the question you mentioned cohesive regional kind of planning and focus. I mean, is there a weakness in that CASP plan or that Cork area strategic plan? Or do you recognise weaknesses?
I don't. I think Cork has been ahead of many other regions in doing this. But as I say, think of the extensions out from Cork also. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Sean, for a very insightful presentation. And in particular, I think the Cork Chamber would like to thank Sean for his contribution to the industrial development of Cork over the last number of years. Sean, as many of you probably know, retires from his current position at the end of this year and moves to the next phase of his career. And in that regard, on behalf of all the Cork Chamber companies, I'd like to wish Sean every success in that next phase of his career. We have a small gift for you here, Sean, which I'd like to just hand to you if I could. Thank you very much. Finally, could I just remind you of a number of upcoming Chamber events. On Friday the 9th of November, there's a business after hours tour in the new School of Music, which really is a world-class location and will be followed by an Irish Chamber Orchestra concert. The tour starts at 6 o'clock, the concert is on at 8 o'clock. On Tuesday the 13th of November, we have a caffeine and commerce event at 11:15 in Jury's Hotel on the Western Road about marketing your business online, tips and tricks, it says. I think this is probably the third or fourth occasion on which we've done this, and certainly the feedback from it has been hugely positive in the past. The next business breakfast will be in the Maryborough Hotel and Spa on Thursday the 22nd of November, and our guest speaker on the day will be John Power from the Irish Hotels Federation. Thanks very much for your attention and attendance today, and I hope you'll have an enjoyable day. Thank you.